people were really busy working on something and they all were wearing white coats, and I realized, oh, these are doctors and nurses. And it took me a while to understand the thing that they are working on. This is the body I used to be in. I was pulled into a extremely bright, warm, intense light. And it was beautiful over there. It was so blissful. It is God who showed up, and he presented himself to me as a male face and a male voice. And he said to me, the world needs to know. And then he disappeared, and I didn't understand what does the world need to know, and what does this has to do with me?
Welcome to the Health Conscious Living Podcast. I'm Dr. Gail Myers, and today's special guest is Dr. Petra Frese. She's a scientist turned spiritual healer, an expert in brain health science and peak mental performance. After her multiple near-death experiences, which dramatically widened her horizon and views on life, she integrated her spiritual insights into her science-based coaching practice. She became a healer and has dedicated her life to assisting others to heal from trauma, accessing their full brain power, and living in alignment with their soul's purpose. Tell us about your journey to becoming a spiritual scientist.
I grew up in the eastern part of Germany, and my upbringing was kind of think it through. Does it make sense to you? Right? Get the numbers, get the information, get the facts, and make an informed decision based on facts. And as a little child already, I did talk to angels, and the angels talked to me, and I thought everyone would do that. Until I realized it was not so common. Not everyone did it. And one day my parents told me that I have to stop that. And I pursued a career according to my upbringing, right? This is what you do. You study, you follow science, and I love science. I do love science. And I love that approach, questioning everything and find out the new stuff, prove, disapprove. I like that. And this is how I lived, right? This is what I believed. My world was science, and that's it. And then I had my first near-death experience. And at that time, I didn't even know what a near-death experience is. I never had heard about that. So I couldn't make sense out of it. And it really got me into deep struggles, because this is what I was used to do, right? Analyze it, find an explanation, and then move on. And I couldn't find the answers. So I went into a phase of really deep self-doubt. I thought my brain had made this up, but this also did not feel right, because it was so real what I had experienced.
Because you were in the childbirthing process.
That's correct. I had given birth to our daughter, and after the delivery, I had lost so much blood and I needed emergency surgery. And right after the surgery started, I was not in pain anymore. I had left my body, and I didn't know in the beginning that this was me observing the scene. What happened was, in 1 second, I was in that situation, getting that emergency surgery, anesthesia, all that stuff, and being in that fully earthly pain and heaviness. And in the next moment, I watched a scene from above where people were really busy working on something, and they all were wearing white coats. And I realized, oh, these are doctors and nurses. And it took me a while to understand the thing that they are working on so intensely. This is the body I used to be in. And in the moment as I realized this is my body they are working on, I was shocked, because what is this, right? And I remember myself thinking, oh, this is good that they are so busy. And they are busy, they do good, they can't do any harm. And with that thought, I was pulled away. It was a force I had never experienced before. And there was a very short moment. It feels short. I don't know in earthly time. But after that intense pull and short moment through a darkness, I was pulled into a extremely bright, warm, intense light. And it was beautiful over there. It was so blissful. It just was beautiful. And I think words can't describe how beautiful it was. No pain, no heaviness, no worries, just existence. And I could see faces, or the heads and faces. I could not see the entire bodies, or what we would assume a face has a body, or together was only faces that I could see. And some people I could recognize, others I didn't. The one person who greeted me there, and she was the one guiding me through that experience, was a person I had met in my life on earth 2, maybe 3 times as a child. She was my great aunt, and she had passed away years ago. And she was the one telling me, hey, welcome here. I will show you around. And it was so nice. And I'm a little cautious here to say that depending on belief systems, I don't want to step on anyone's toes, but in my belief system, it is God who showed up, and he presented himself to me as a male face and a male voice. And at that time, we lived in Berlin in Germany, and we talked German, no other language. And he spoke to me in English. And he said to me, the world needs to know. And then he disappeared. And I didn't understand what does the world need to know? And what does this has to do with me? So my great aunt explained to me, and she said, the world needs to know that we don't have to have any fear. There is no fear needed on earth. And she allowed me to see, to know everything at once. The omnipresent wisdom. And with that experience, I understand that we don't need any fear at all.
Beautiful.
And then she pushed me back. I really did not want to come back. And I feel ashamed about that, because I know, and I had realized at this moment that I had just delivered our precious daughter. The second message was that we always have a choice. The second near-death experience, I was given a choice. So I was on the other side, and I was asked if I would stay over there or if I want to go back on Earth and fulfill my life's purpose, the contract I had signed to enter this lifetime. So this was a very different experience, choosing to go back, knowing it's blissful over there, and going back here on this, in comparison, very heavy existence. And the third message was, and I think this weighs heavy on my shoulders, is with great wisdom comes great responsibility. And putting the 3 messages together, to me, it feels that's a complete message. We don't have to fear here on earth. We always have a choice, and we are to choose our responsibility to accept that. If you want to have great wisdom, it comes with responsibility.
And what was different when you chose to come back?
That's probably the ego thing, right? I was not forced to come back. It was me deciding that I want to be here. And if life got heavy, if I was in trouble later on, it was for me to have my inner conversation and say, hey, you did choose to be here. You can handle this.
Your soul was on a mission and chose to come back. And once again, I'm so glad.
Thank you. It changed from being that victim, that poor little human being that's placed off, pushed back in that really sick, suffering body, compared to I was given the choice and now I'm here and it was on me. It shifted from being the victim to it was your decision. You are in charge. You have the knowledge, you have the wisdom, and you have the strength.
And you have the power. So you are empowered in your choice. How beautiful. So what wisdom did you gain in those three experiences that you're now sharing?
It's multifaceted. One thing is we can access all that wisdom if we trust and if we allow ourselves to tune in to that all-knowing. We have access to it. Right? And the power is within us. The healing from physical experiences, and you can talk about this in depth, exactly how powerful we are. The emotional, the mental, and also the healing on the soul level, right? It is within us. And yes, we do need modern medicine, but I really like to say medicine is based on knowledge. The art of healing is based on wisdom. And when we combine both, right, when we combine the modern medicine and our wisdom, this leads to complete healing. And this is what I see reflected in my life. When we combine science and engineering, the thinking based on facts and numbers and strategies, when we combine this with the spiritual experience and that wisdom, we become complete.
Beautiful. Yes, I speak about this from my experience and in earlier episodes of the podcast that we're spiritual beings having a human experience, and we have these bodies and we have these experiences, but we're not the body and we're not the experience. We're much greater. And we are here to grow and learn and gain wisdom and share. And so here you are. So you had several experiences of that human spirit, and then the combination of being here with that awareness. Because it sounds like the first time that was the hardest part of coming back, was really how do you integrate that kind of experience and that universal knowledge and wisdom that you had in like momentarily and eternal time and wisdom. And you come back and you are having to navigate the world. I know what I found from my near-death experience and surviving high-impact head-on collision and going through a 5-year recovery. There's a greater purpose when all these things happen to us. It's just that when we're in it, you can't see it. You can't see it till you're beyond it. But you can also see it as it seems a lot easier if you can understand that there is a higher purpose, even though you can't see it in the moment. So I'm sure you help others come to that.
Correct. And it needs a huge portion of trust and faith, right? What you just said, I can only underline that. When we're in the midst of a struggle, we can see why this happens to us, why this happens for us, right? Most of the time we see it's happening to us. And even if we say it's happening for us, we know this on a superficial level, right? That's knowledge, that's brain, that's frontal lobe, that's analytical thinking. But that deeper knowing in the soul level, this is what we have to work to really get there, to that deepness. So in the initial phase, my clients, they need that portion of trust, right? And with hindsight, they have proof. So to step into that trust, I think what's really important is that the client, the individual or the corporation, that they feel that they have a higher purpose, a higher potential, and that there is a huge amount of pain. And I'm not saying I like that people have pain, but that's, from my perspective, the purpose of pain, because we want to get out of that. And right, exactly.
To grow from it. It's healing from trauma.
Yes.
There's such a gift in it. It's so hard to see in the moment. It doesn't feel like it. It doesn't look like it. It doesn't sound like it. but it is such a gift. If we can just stop, having that soul connection and that soul trust and that inner wisdom to be able to access that and have that is such, and that's the gift that you keep on unwrapping every day.
And we have the power to create, right? And creation, I see creation as a antagonist to competition, right? When we compete, this means we compare and we want to be better as someone else or something else in the same arena that exists already. So we want to repeat the same existing thing a little better or much better. When we go into creation, we know what's there and we want to create, we want to build something new. And competition, when we want to go that same route, right, to be better, it's a good thing. I like to be competitive, to move forward, to do better in the arena of something that exists, which is good, which is serving us well, do it better. If this is what already exists, what we are comparing ourselves to, if this is not serving us well, we need to go the other direction, moving away from competition, from comparison, moving into creation, to create our own miracle, our own success, our own life path in alignment to our soul's plan.
That's so beautiful. Yes, because as spiritual beings, we are creating all the time. So what are we creating? How are we creating? And to have that awareness that we have the power to create anew, not from the past experience. We can create from the wisdom we gained, but we don't have to recreate the same. And that's so beautiful and empowering, and it instills so much hope. Oh, thank you so much for sharing this with us today. What 3 things would you like to share with the audience as we finish? What 3 things would you like to leave with the audience?
I would definitely say go into conversation with yourself about the fears you have. And have that in the back of your mind. We don't need any fear. Fear is not necessary. And we are born with 2 fears, right? We are born with the fear of heights equals the fear of falling, and with the fear of loud noises. All the other fears we have learned. We've learned and we copy fears of someone else, except the 2 that we are born with. So have conversation, that inner conversation. What fear is holding me back here? The second message is give yourself permission to step into your creative power. Create your miracle of healing. Create your miracle of success. Create your relationship of your dreams. Create your dream life. Be brave and give yourself permission to create. And the third message, when you create and the outcome is not what you expected it to be gentle with yourself and adjust. Adjust according to your soul's mission, to your soul's plan. It's okay to adjust.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. And Dr. Petra, how can people follow you and find your books?
So you can find me on my website. It's my name, petrafrese.com. I think that's the easiest way to find me or follow me on social media. It's my name.
That's great. And it will be in the show notes. So thank you again.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for watching. If you would like to work with me for more insight, go to my website and book a private session. And check out my latest transformational meditation. Have a blessed day.